nice, there's lots of fish here. Yo. There's lots of, it's Lucy, Roman, sort of Stingray. A nice seal came through. Lots of hottentot, zebrafish, just so much fish today and lots of bait. So see if you can maybe get a tail. It's a bit wavy, goodness. But yeah, it's a lucky dive.
And we are back. So in this video, I'm spearfishing my secret spot in False Bay, and I do 4 dives on 4 different days, and they're all combined in this video. So this is the first day, and this day the water was sitting at 19 degrees and we had about 8 meters of waters. And the water was warm the whole way to the bottom, so there wasn't any thermocline. And this day I wanted to shoot a yellowtail. So when I'm hunting yellowtail, what I like doing, if there isn't thermocline, I'll set the flasher 1 meter off the floor, because often what happens is the yellowtail will be swimming on the bottom. But if there's thermocline where the water's cold on the bottom but warm on the top, they'll be swimming on the top looking for that warmer water. So I normally set the flasher to about 4 to 5 meters when there is thermocline. But yeah, you can see there's just lots of fish in this video. This day was very special, there were just fish everywhere. And yeah, I have this awesome stingray swim over my head, but what he actually does is he swims straight into the flasher there, and then he turns and decides to swim over my head. In the next video, I had this whole shoal of mast bunkers just swim around. It was so awesome having that happen. This day I was very sure that the yellowtail was going to come. Yeah, the water was warm and there was a lot of bait everywhere. So I didn't want to shoot a reef fish, because often what happens to me is when I shoot a reef fish, that whole shoal of yellowtail coming, and then my gun's not loaded, so I can't shoot the yellowtail, and then yeah.
Yellowtail!
What happened here is I forgot to film, but I dove and I had a shoal of yellowtail come in. They were about 15 a shoal, and they were big fish, between 8 kilos and 12 kilos. And then, so this is my buddy's footage. So there's the yellowtail I shot, but I messed up my shot. And he tried to get a second shot off, but he didn't manage to. It's difficult to say how big that fish was, but if I had to guess, it looked about 9 kilos. And yeah, he had the shoal swim around him and he picked the closest one and shot it. The yellowtail he shot here ended up weighing 9 kilos. And yeah, I'm helping him dispatch the fish, so making sure he doesn't lose it, and making sure that there isn't a seal that comes through to steer it, because there are a lot of seals in this area with spearfishing. This is the next day of diving, and this day I was looking for red Roman. I was really keen on shooting a few, so I wanted to shoot 2, but I only wanted to shoot red Roman bigger than 38 centimeters. So what I did is I swam out to a reef that I know that always has red Roman on it, and yeah, you can see that there were just red Roman everywhere. But what I noticed on this dive is that a lot of the bigger rowan was sitting on the edge of the reef. So what I did here is I swam out to the edge of the reef and I dove on the sand and I swam onto the reef like this. And then there were these two nice big fat romans sitting here behind this rock. And I waited for the smaller one in front to move and I shot the back one, which was definitely the bigger one. This roman measured in at 44 centimeters. A red roaming is actually a very aggressive fish, so what normally happens is a male will find a cave that he likes and he'll defend the cave and he'll fight off all the other rival males, and then there would normally be a few females that move in that cave with him. Normally is about 5 depending on the size of the cave. Red roaming actually transition from a female to a male. The transition normally happens when the red roaming reaches 35 centimeters. What I like doing when hunting red roaming is I like sitting on the floor and scratching my gun and making grunts, and this often draws the bigger roaming out of their caves, and it makes them want to see what you are, to see if you're a threat or anything, and if they need to chase you away to defend their cave. So this dive, you can see I landed on a nice patch of rock here, and you can see there's a couple romans sitting in this crack. So the smaller ones are most likely females, and that bigger one there is most likely the male. So now what would happen is, after shooting that roman, there will either be another male that moves in there, or one of the females that would live in there would transition into a male. This roman measured in at 39.5 centimeters. So this stingray actually gave me a fright, because as I threw that red roman in my boogie board, I looked down and I just see this thing under me. I thought it was a shark, but it was just, I realized it was just a stingray, so I actually dove down and swam with him. It was quite a cool experience. What happened here is this yellowtail came in on the flash. It was a single yellowtail, and then my buddy was already on a dive, and as he was swimming up, it swam in front of him, and he shot me. And then I saw his shot was ripping, so I dove immediately and gave him a second shot. But yeah, I'm also just helping him dispatch the fish and making sure that there isn't a seal that comes through. This is the next day. We punched out a bit deeper than normal and we found this nice big boulder. So I just sat on the top here and just peeking over the edge, seeing what's going on. And then I decided to sink down to the bottom. And then I just lay there, grunted to see if any nice reef fish or something would come in. Yeah, I had a nice red Roman. You can see he's trying to swim away, but I shot him. This Roman measured in at 35 centimeters. So yeah, I had this nice shoal of bait swimming in front of me. I couldn't quite tell what bait it was, but if I had to guess, it was probably Mars bunkers again. This dive, there were these two John Browns swimming in front of me, and it was very tempting to shoot them. But they were on the smaller side, so I decided to leave them alone and let them live another day. So this dive, I was swimming back in and we had this whole shoal of yellowtail swimming, and unfortunately my camera died, but I managed to land this one and we had another 5 shoals of yellowtail swimming on us. So yeah, we ended up landing a couple yellowtail that day. But this is the next day and you can see the viz is absolutely terrible. It's actually very creepy diving in this fizz in the beginning, because there are quite a lot of sharks in this spot. Yeah, we actually had a shark swimming in front of us, and it was actually a very cool shark. So you can see it there. It's a smooth hound shark. A lot of people would mistaken this one for a spotted gutty. They look very similar, but they aren't. Yeah, this one was a smooth hound shark. They're actually pretty rare. Don't see a lot of them. But this day there were a lot of Miss Lucy. It's very cool seeing healthy population of them again. These Miss Lucy was sitting about the 20 centimeter mark, So they were in size, but they were very cool just having them swim around and yeah. So what I actually did in this video is I used my flasher as an anchor point because there was a very strong current on the surface and I was struggling to stay on the reef, and with the murk I couldn't really see what's reef and sand.